friends. I want to talk a little bit about the astrological energy of the time. Now, whether you follow astrology or not, it really doesn't matter because we're all attuning to the energy that we feel in our environment, that we're sensing in each other. And that's really what I'm here to talk about, and how we can maybe lean into what's happening on a deeper level and work with it more skillfully. So, what's happening? We're about to move into the Cancer season, and that's just the zodiac that is ruling the kind of the energy of the time. But what I've been noticing is we've been in a time of acceleration and growth, and you might have noticed is that what has been working for a long time is not working. And so we're having a lot of people that are changing jobs or deciding to go after a passion that they've had, or maybe they're getting divorced. Big changes have been happening because we're actually getting that permission to follow those things that have been stirring us, and we're starting to make the changes, or the changes may feel like they've been happening to us if we've been kind of maybe resisting them a little bit. And then sometimes the soul just kind of takes over and things start to happen in ways that we can't explain. But the result is change is happening, and we're being asked to expand and grow. And these are all for our own good, because in a sense, in the greater sense, we are desiring this change. It is what we need to be who we are here to be, which is all of our mission. But I want to explain something that happens in this process is we might in our own mind say, I want to go here, or I want this experience, or I want to learn about this, or I want to pursue this. And it becomes this mental expansion of holding space, and even in the mind, for what it is that we desire. So we can have a goal or a destination that our mind has. But then what happens is the mind doesn't really know how to get there, because the mind only knows the past and what's happening in the present. And so we just need different skills to get to the next place, which is our creativity and our intuition. Those are the skills that are being heightened for us to start to lean into and to develop more fully. Also, what is starting to happen is that we all have what I kind of call emotional set points. And what this is that we all come into being with certain emotional frequencies in which we're really comfortable in this emotional range. So certain emotions become very regular that we are used to feeling. And there's a kind of a happiness meter in which we're like, yeah, I'm used to this much happiness. I'm used to feeling a certain way. And when we expand and grow, we have to allow the discomfort. We have to have the ability in our system to handle the discomfort of the new feelings. But conversely, we also have to allow in these better feelings. We have to know how to hold higher vibrations for love, for joy, for our expansion, which means that there'll be parts of us that are fractured, small parts of us that maybe haven't been cared for. And so these show up as maybe self-sabotaging parts, or emotional unrest in our system, like what might be anxiety or stress or depression. But lots of these emotional states are just kind of old states that are needing to be integrated into the whole. And so in order to expand, we have to take those parts with us. And this isn't a mental process of shaming ourselves or judging these parts or wondering why am I feeling this way? It's more of just being able to process the energy and also be able to take care of ourselves so that those parts of us can be wrapped into this ever evolving part of ourselves. So there's a lot of emotional processing and upgrading that has to happen. And this is all done through a frequency of love and care. And a lot of us aren't really skilled at how to care for our emotional self. We're really good at maybe mental hygiene, or how to kind of pick ourselves up by our bootstraps and kind of motivate ourselves. But this isn't at all of that energy. Emotional self-care is a highly, highly underdeveloped skill that most of us have, that really is on a deep level of care. And most of us didn't necessarily receive that in our childhood, or we don't have great models for that, because it's just now that emotional intelligence, it's making its way into the scene where people are caring about emotions and are being taught emotional self-care practices. So you wouldn't be alone if you really don't know how to care for these uncomfortable emotions that are surfacing, and you want to know how to attune to what your emotional self needs and how to care for those uncomfortable emotions. So that's going to be one layer of unfolding that we all need to sharpen our ability to check into our emotional self, and 2, know how to care for it. And the second way that we're getting upgraded is that we need to know that our body needs to hold higher energies and frequencies, which means that we have to be healthy. So there'll be a greater focus on our physical health. So that's taking care of the food that we put in our body, staying hydrated, exercising as we need to, really like letting this body be a vessel and taking good care of it. So to the degree to which we're not caring for our body and taking care of resting when we need to rest and moving when we need to move, and allowing our body to integrate what's happening, will kind of like slows the expansion progress. So really, I guess in a greater sense, these kind of maybe lesser used intelligences, the body, the emotional intelligence that we have, they have their own intelligence. And if we're only paying attention to the mind and what the mind wants, and we're ignoring these, we'll get to where we have always gotten, and then we'll end up noticing the limiting beliefs, we'll noticing the emotional unrest, and that will bring us back to where we've been. And then we'll tell ourselves, see, it doesn't work, I can't have what I have, or I'm failing, or life won't give it to me. And really, it's just that we didn't bring the whole of us with us in the expansion. And so caring for our physical body, really allowing yourself to give yourself what you need on a physical level, which sometimes goes against what we're programmed or taught to believe, so it's going against the conditioned ways of like, oh, it's this diet plan or it's that, and really listening to what does my body need. And so caring for our body will be essential as we're expanding, knowing how to care for our emotional sense, essential, and then knowing how to feed our spirit. And that might be a foreign concept for a lot of us, is what does your spirit need? And that's generally through activities that give you joy. So it's play, it's allowing your creativity to thrive and flourish. So it's learning some tools and techniques to really get in touch with your spirit. These are all going to be very instrumental as we're expanding in this new phase that we're all in. And so we're having to all learn new tools and to pay attention to different parts of our intelligence that perhaps we just haven't really been all that aware of. But remember, all of you gets to come with you in the expansion. You can't expand in just your mind and leave the rest of you behind. And that's why a lot of the healing has to happen with those parts of us that do hold those limiting beliefs in our body, in our emotional self. And we have to work with that. And that can be done through energy healing, through different modalities. And a lot of times it's not a mental practice and game. That's only a small fraction of it. So this month, as we're in Cancer season, I'm really going to be paying attention to how maybe I can share some tools with us on how to better care for our emotions and tune into that. It's so important. This is a great time if those are intelligences that you have not developed fully, or if you're noticing that, yes, you notice that your emotions are kind of getting the hold of you and causing you to kind of retract, or those thinking patterns are causing you to retract, then this is a great time to get some help with that and to allow yourself to learn new tools. So my friends, this is a super exciting time. And this is how we learn and grow to be more of who we are, is that we learn to care for all of us, and that we learn that all of us gets to come with us. I hope this has been really, really helpful. I want to mention about my upcoming Cancer season attunement. In this practice, we are going to be really allowing ourselves to feel into where we've been expanding and where we have access to refine our emotional guidance system. Our emotional guidance system is the tool that we have that allows us to allow our emotions to be indicators of where we are and how close we are to moving towards that leading edge of our desire, and where we are really drawing ourselves to go, kind of like our navigation system. And so it's not about suppressing emotions or judging them as good or bad, but it's about listening to them and learning how to work with our emotions so that we can regulate them in ways that are self-serving and allowing us to be our best. And so during this Cancer attunement, we're going to learn a little bit about the Cancer archetype, hear a little bit about the astrological landscape that we're in, and I'll give you some practices and tools that allow you to apply these tools in your life and allow you to kind of navigate what's going on in your life with maybe a little bit more clarity. I'll answer some questions if you want to know where in your chart this energy will be highlighting. It could be like in your finances or in your relationships or maybe in your work life. And then we'll do a physical practice to kind of feel the energy of Cancer. And then at the very end, we'll have some time for self-reflection, and then I'll be doing an energy transmission of healing of some of the energy that I think is coming through for us to kind of vibrationally attune to, that allows our emotional self to get some nurturing and care. So I'll share some of that with you. And then we'll allow ourselves to re-enter into Cancer season feeling resourced and supported. So I hope that you'll join me for this really special time, friends. Thank you for listening, and I hope that this information inspires you to keep expanding and to realize where you might need some support and fortification, and where that life may be allowing you to expand your tool belt of tools that will help you as you're living your genius life. And as we're living our genius life, we need new tools, and these tools are a little bit different than the modern day tools that maybe we've learned, but these tools work amazingly, and they're accessible right where you are. You don't actually have to buy anything. It's no programs that you have to buy. It's really the inner resourcing that you've always had. It's just learning to attune and learn how to use the tools that you were born with. Blessings to you. Thanks for listening.